We're back at it, and this is shaking hands art because I am painting with Fralins and Friends. And gracious, let me catch my breath. I started this and realized I didn't have a light on anymore. But, well, I'm trying to go with larger stones and maybe like a table rock or something. Larger space for grass and stuff as we go up the mountain. So this is just kind of a start. Their faces, that's a big explanation. I had it to about the right color when I thought, oh, it needs a little bit of pink. So I just put a touch of pink in there. And it turned it back to orange. I'm gonna let that dry for a bit, and I'm gonna work down here again. Getting these dark gray areas so that it lifts those rocks up. And let that dry a bit. I'm gonna give them some different colored clothes. I need to go and look and see what the main colors of the day were, because a lot of it was like skins, and well, they grew a lot of flax over there, so they were able to, but they were limited on the kind of dyes. These are the new stones I put in. I'll be probably putting in more. A few smaller ones. And this kind of a table rock type thing. I'm probably going to shape it better. Rocks can often have little divots. Not only that, they are mixed with other kinds of rock a lot of time. Not all flint is in one layer, although it's generally somewhere. Well, yes, usually flint, I don't know, I think you find I think you might find a little layer of flint somewhere in a stone, but I don't know how much they have over there. That might be a little much. I'll probably do some more. If I were to make these stones as I grew up looking at them, I mean, we found occasionally a geode, but not often. Most often, you know, there were just different colors. We lived right by the river, and that's always tumbling rocks, but okay. I didn't turn it back on right away, but I did go look at some images and some colors. And it seems like they did kind of distinguish biblical figures by color in some, I don't know. Some places, I don't know, it probably by artists, but I don't know. I'll follow that to a certain amount, but anyway, it seems they put Peter in, I think, but he was more of in a kind of a, you know, I've already forgotten, so I'll just put him in whatever color I want. So, but I put, you know, they'll have little divots and stuff in rocks, and I need to put more, because some are rounded, they're not even. These over here on this end, if you can, there, these over here, if you remember, yeah, those looked a whole lot better once I got some vegetation around them, and the shapes really changed. So I want to do that, but when I redo these guys, I'm going to, well, I'm making them longer for one thing, and I'll make these longer, but I might just have them in a different position. Right now, though, I'm going to grab my Bible. This is from my Priory Study Bible, but you don't need to worry about that. I'm not going to give you all that. Okay. I think they used the word Transfiguration. I think that's the word we gave it. They gave more of a description. Well, this is dry. I'm just going to read you the account of the Transfiguration. This is in Matthew 17. Okay. This is when Jesus has been trying to prepare the disciples for his death and resurrection, and his death and resurrection, and how that would affect them. And so one thing he wanted to show them, he didn't take all of them, but okay, this is in Matthew 17. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. There he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Just then there appeared before them Moses and Elijah, talking with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was speaking, a bright cloud enveloped them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my son, whom I love, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell face down to the ground, terrified. But Jesus came and touched them. Get up, he said. Don't be afraid. When they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. Okay. And Jesus would have been Jesus was back to his normal form then. But Peter was always the practical one. But yet he was the first one to recognize Jesus as the Son of God. And that's why Jesus said, you are the rock upon which I'll build my church. But Peter wasn't perfect. He got in trouble again. But he was still the rock. But we'll talk about those things later. We've got enough here with the Transfiguration. Man, my colors. I love painting, but I don't know. I don't work on an easel because a lot of us shaky. And I don't have one this size for sure. There was one other time when God said, This is my son in whom I am well pleased. Do any of you remember where that was? When he was baptized by John the Baptist. John didn't want to do it. He said, I'm not good enough to touch your feet. No, Jesus insisted. He says, I want to be baptized. Baptism was, it was for cleansing from sin, which Jesus never did. But it was also an example to follow. And he was very humble while he walked the earth because he wanted us to learn to be humble. Okay, let's give this thing some pizzazz with some red. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I don't have you looking at it. Okay, sorry. Killing my back. Joe was mentioning a little bit of the noise this chair makes, and it does. It makes all kinds of noise. I'm not going to do a lot of red. And a splash of a color here and there, especially a bold color. Okay. Well, yeah, don't shoot me. That's so I can just, as I say, start over. Didn't read anywhere in there that Jesus was raised off the ground. I don't know, maybe he was. But really they couldn't see much of him. And some of the paintings do have him raised off the ground. Okay, I love you all. My lips are sticky. I will see you tomorrow, and we will make some more messes on this thing and hopefully clean up a couple of others. So good night and rest well.